I'm Jay Munoz, bringing you a little notice, a little advertisement. Shotaro Ishinomori's birthday is January 25th, 2000, January 25th, 2025 this year. However, Shotaro Ishinomori is no longer with us. He died. He would have been 87 years old this year. He died at 60 years old. It's been 27 years since his death. And interestingly enough, he died January 28th, which is just a couple days after his, after his 60th birthday, which is kind of an interesting factoid. And I have been thinking a lot about Ishinomori because I have a very strong emotional attachment to some of his work, not all of his work. I'm not going to pretend that I've read everything. I haven't even read all of Cyborg 009. I haven't read all of Kikaider or Inazuma Man. I've watched a decent amount of Kamen Rider. For me, I'd like to watch more, and I've read all of the Kamen Rider manga, which I absolutely love. There's so much good in the Kamen Rider manga. I've also read Skullman, which I have a review of. I also have a review of the official 7 Seas Go Ranger and the official 7 Seas Kamen Rider collections that they did, which is the original 1971 Kamen Rider and the Go Ranger from whenever that was, 75 or something like that. Anyway, I have reviews of both of those up on my website and on the YouTube channel and wherever else you can get it in the podcast feed, whatnot. But as we're coming up on Shotaro Ishinomori's birth anniversary, 87 years, I decided I'll go ahead and check out some things of Ishinomori because I, again, have been thinking about him a lot recently for various reasons, mostly because of my own creative work that I'm doing, the creative projects I'm doing, and I decided I'm going to put a little thing out for people to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you read something from Shotaro Ishinomori? Why don't you read something that he wrote? Or watch the, I think it's the Scissors Jaguar episode. No, it's Scissors Jaguar. It's from V3. Anyway, there's a specific episode that I know, like Iga Devil from a long time ago, Paul, had suggested that people check out. Ishinomori I think he's the director of the episode of Kamen Rider. It's like episode 78 or something like that. You can look it up on a wiki, I'm sure. You can watch that. I think he makes an appearance in it. Or you can go ahead and read some of his officially released manga, or you can read some of his unofficially released manga, whatever you want to do. But just to kind of tap into and tune into the wavelength of and the frequency of this genius mangaka, I really do think that the manga, the Go Ranger manga, the Kamen Rider manga, are wonderful. They do have their flaws. There are imperfect things in there that either because I'm not Japanese or because he messed up and it may sound ridiculous and it may sound like cope that I'm suggesting those two things as reasons. There were some things in the manga, panel to panel, in some areas that I just didn't understand, didn't connect with, didn't make sense to me, didn't like, honestly, and thought like, hey, why'd you do that? You wasted time and energy, drawing this, this cityscape or whatever, as opposed to just giving me more story. And the thing is, I'm into the stories I enjoy, the media I enjoy, because I love the stories. And I do think there's a deep, beautiful, emotional story in Kamen Rider, in Go Ranger, to a lesser extent in Skullman, mostly because I think that's just so nihilistic, although I do want to revisit that this year. I'm actually, I pulled it up. I had bought the Skullman when the Comixology was still a thing, and now it's just ported over to my Kindle store, so I have Skullman. I'd like to read that and revisit it this year, for sure. But also, this isn't something that Ishinomori made, but it's something about his creative process, and I'm hoping to get some insight into him and the other people who made Kamen Rider, which is by checking out The Men Who Made Kamen Rider, which is I think it's a pretty short, like 50 or so page one-shot manga, and I'm definitely interested in checking that out this year because I just kind of want to get a little closer to the old man, get a little closer to Ishinomori, and get a little more insight into what he was doing, what he was when he was creating Kamen Rider, what he was thinking when he was creating Skullman. I hear that Crossfire is kind of like an in-between design thing, which is something that actually got rolled into the Shin Kamen Rider manga, which is the Shocker manga, really, which I can't remember what it's like, the beautiful, like the Ugly World or something like that. Anyway, but there's a Shin Kamen Rider prequel manga that seems really fabulous, and I just haven't checked it out enough, but like Crossfire ends up being in there, which is pretty cool. And anyway, I'm talking about like early pre-Kamen Rider stuff, because when I think it was Toei, or maybe it was just TV Asahi at the time, when they wanted this tokusatsu show, they went to Ishinomori because I believe he had done some designs for some other stuff, and they liked his design work. I'm sure they liked him as a mangaka, but they liked other TV design work that he'd done, so they went to him again. And then he, as I understand it, he upcycled Skullman into Kamen Rider and just made it a different thing and gave it kind of a different flair. But you can see some of the bones there of Skullman in Kamen Rider. And anyway, so I thought it hit me like I should check that out and see if it's available. And sure enough, it is available. There's a scanlation of it, so I'm going to be I'd like to read that. I'd like to read Skullman. I'd like to kind of review and talk about both of them, because I think that doing that, taking a second pass at Skullman, will help me for my creative projects that I'm doing on my own, because I basically, through a convoluted bunch of stuff I won't tell you about right now, I've decided to look at Skullman and think about Skullman for a little while and consider kind of doing my own not Skullman and maybe even my own not Skullman literary universe of tokusatsu heroes, henshin heroes. And I think that could be pretty cool. I think there's a lot of merit to that idea, and it's something I'm planning to explore. But I thought, while I'm doing that, let me just check out Skullman itself and see what it's like. And it's that project is actually something I was thinking about, because I was thinking, I want to do a short story or something as like an homage to Ishinomori, because the man created so much stuff. I don't know about any beef he had with people. I don't think he was like a spiteful person. I don't really know much about him as a person other than what he put into his stories, and I definitely think he was an interesting guy. But something important about him is that he was a man who focused on work. Whether it's because he desperately needed the money or because he just loved the work, I think it was definitely rooted in his love for the work, in drawing and writing stories that captivated people. I think that was core to his prolificness as a writer, or as a manga artist, which is why he has the God of Manga award that he was given, or the title that he was given. And I just admire his ability to work so fast and to work so hard and to do so much. And I thought, maybe I should write a short story, like a one-shot kind of deal, kind of homaging his work, maybe with some of my work. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, maybe I should do a little something else, something a little more expansive. And I realized I'm not going to have time to do everything I'd want to do to honor him and to say thank you to him for his work, which has impacted me deeply. Which the real thing that impacts me about like Go Ranger, and more specifically Kamen Rider, and maybe there's a little bit of something there in Skullman, especially with the notes that he gave to have the Skullman reboot done, is the finding redemption. Like, no matter all the dark things you've done, no matter all the bad things you've done in your life, there is a path to redemption, and you can do it, and you can do good even if you're unworthy, even if you're not a good person. You can do good and make a difference in the world. And I think that beautiful core message is what's at the heart of Kamen Rider specifically, and it's part of what draws me to it so dearly, so neatly, so keenly. I don't know how to say that, but I'm very drawn to Kamen Rider and the ideas within it, because not only is it his pursuit of justice, but it's also his reclaiming of his humanity that's beautiful to me. And I feel like I should be a better person than I am, and I feel like Kamen Rider gives me the permission to keep trying to be that better person, even though I fail, because, well, that's who I am for now. Anyway, so I encourage you to please read something by Shotaro Ishinomori. He's a great mangaka, great storyteller. There's beautiful messages in his work, and they are spectacular to look at and to behold as a visual medium. And so I plan on doing that. And before I did that, I wanted to invite you to do the same. And anyway, yeah. This is MJ. I just wanted to make it clear real quick that I did in fact read Skullman again, and I have a re-review that I made. I say it's short, but it's actually closer to 20 minutes long, which is fine. And then I also read and kind of did a review of Chapter 1 of The Men Who Made Kamen Rider. I don't know if there's actually Chapter 2, which I talk about in that review, so I won't talk about it here anymore. But just letting you know, I did end up doing some reading, and I'm going to get those out. These will probably all come out on the same day because of time constraints, but I'll kind of space them out, and hopefully folks check them out, and they check out at least some of Ishinomori's work, but yeah, definitely Skullman is a hard recommend. And so is The Man Who Made Kamen Rider. It's really interesting, really fascinating. Check out his work, and I encourage you to stick around because I plan on making more and getting back into the swing of things. I had some family medical issues to deal with that kept me away from making my regular Tokusatsu review content, and I hope that now that that's over, or we're very much at the end of it, that I will get back into the swing of that, and I will get back to writing my own projects, because I feel the need, I feel the drive to create, and when I'm not writing and creating stories, it hurts me somewhere in my soul, and I feel a kinship with Ishinomori because I think he probably felt the same way about his manga. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Check out everything I have going on. Go to mjwindish.com to keep up with me, and you can even check out growbugs.com for some information about my middle grade novel that I'm working on. You can sign up for the newsletter and find out updates on the book, find out little insights about what it's about, and also find out when it's going to come out. And you can pre-order and all that good stuff and help me get this book going because that'd be really great. Thank you so much for your time and attention, folks. Take care.